Sí, pero no te la puedo sacar porque va a empezar. Good evening. I'm Ida Escobar, and I welcome you to the regular call meeting of the Library Board of the City of Pharr on Thursday, January the 23rd, 2020. It is now 6:03. At this time, I call this meeting to order. May we have the roll call at this time?
Ida Escobar,
Present.
Anita Vela,
Present.
Enriqueta Brewster,
Present.
Oliver Santosa, absent. Emma Rosales Garcia,
Present.
Claudia Garcia, absent. Mary Gonzalez, absent. Commissioner Lazar Guajardo, absent.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to excuse absences?
So moved.
Moved by Keta,
I second.
seconded by Anita. All in favor?
Aye.
Next item on the regular agenda in open session is approval of the minutes for July the 18th, 2019. Are there any corrections to the minutes?
My name is here twice, present and absent.
Oh.
Really?
Her name is there twice, one absent and one present.
I think
On the roll call.
Is there anything else that we can see in the minutes? If not, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes as written and corrected?
I motion.
Motion by
Emma.
Emma,
Garcia.
And I second the motion.
seconded by Anita. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the presentation of the director's report. Mr. Garcia?
Yes, thank you for attending our board meeting. I think we haven't met in a few months, but we certainly welcome to have a quorum today so we can kind of brief you on some things going on at the library, some things that have happened. As you know, we finished the fiscal year really well. I think we had over 200,000 at the gate count for the main library and over 25,000 at the gate count at the DRC, the South Pharr Library. I'll go over a few stats, and then Mike will follow up with just briefly some of the meetings that have been going on at the DRC Library in South Pharr. You should excuse me, but we didn't include the list of people who have met at the DRC, but there are some pictures there of things that have happened at the library with the Children's Department. And Santiago will cover some of the stuff that's been going on in the Children's Department and what's going on currently with the reference that Carlos will cover briefly. I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're busy, especially right now when it kind of gets dark really fast outside. So let me just get started. Just keep in mind that these are the stats from October 1st to year to date, which would be the end of December. We do have a good amount of people already showing up at the library in Maine, over 48,000 already visited our main library, and over 8,000 have visited the South Pharr Library. And as far as circulation, main complaint now at the DRC is that all the kids have read the books that we have. Our open day collection has circulated quite a bit, so kids are seeing the same book. So I'm working with Mike to make sure that we do add quite a few books on a monthly basis. We just want to make sure that the books that are there, even though they're going on 2 years, that the ones that are already used get replaced with newer books. The only thing that's not helping us is that there's limited amount of space, shelf space at the DRC, so we need to be cognizant that the books that are there are fairly new, so just we want to keep people coming to the library, yes, reading, but at the same time, weeding and replacing the books that are there with new titles. We do have a healthy budget. Every fiscal year, we have about $100,000 of books that we need to, dollars worth of books that we need to purchase. So 1/3 of that goes to the DRC to purchase books. So I do thank the city for that. Like I said, not that we run out of books, it's just the kids read quite a bit, so the complaint is we need more books to read.
Here.
You
New
did
books.
mention space as well. Is
Yeah, the
there
shelving-
lack of space?
We just, we're running out of space, bookshelf space.
Bookshelves?
Not necessarily the facility, but
Yes.
the shelving space is limited.
So we're ordering bookshelves also?
We did order some bookshelves. I mean, it's very limited because there's so many you can fit
Yeah.
on the actual shelf, bookshelf itself. The furniture piece, there's only so many you can fit, especially with the books being different sizes. And children's books being a little bit taller than regular nonfiction books. So, yeah, we did order some, but they're primarily for our DVD collection, which is also getting a lot of circulation in South Pharr. So we're working on that, make sure we have enough books for our patrons to read in the South Pharr facility. As far as the main library, we don't necessarily ever run out of shelving space. It gets really tight, but we have a very good way of weeding out the old books. We do have older books that do need to be replaced. We do have I don't want to say a formal committee, but we do have every department, children's and reference, that keeps a good eye on the books that aren't being circulated. So they go through the system, make sure that those that don't get checked out as much anymore, we kind of weed them out of the collection and replace them with new books.
How do you determine which titles need to be ordered?
There's actually a method. It's called the CREW method. It's an acronym. Pretty much, if the title can't be replaced with a new one, or it's outdated, usually we look for books that are outdated, books that are fairly worn out, that we take out of the collection. And if for some reason the book is a collection that we can't replace it, or a historical collection, those stay in the library, because those aren't available anymore, or they can't be replaced with newer editions.
But that's replacement. What about new books?
New books,
New titles?
we work with bestsellers and different vendors to provide us with those new titles, and they are kept until they're not new anymore, or they're not wanted anymore. So those are replaced with new books. And we use
You don't have a committee of people that
our
might?
staff. We have about 2 people in each department that work, maybe a total of 6 that work on collection development and also weeding out books at the same time. So it's a joint effort.
Good. Thank you.
And I would like to mention that if we don't have a book in the collection, we'll easily either purchase the books if it can't be purchased locally, or it can't be taken from another library because we belong to the Alva County Library System. If we can't borrow from the library, then we'll buy it for our collection, so our patrons can then enjoy that book, check it out from our library. So if there's a way to get that book for that patron, we'll get it for them. There's really no limits as to where and how we can get those books.
Thank you.
So there is a good circulation in our library. Over 20,000 items almost 21,000 items have been checked out. Revenues, these revenues are from fines collected. These are copies, printouts, faxes, anything that will generate revenue at the library. That's over 2,500 at the DRC and over 14,000 at the main branch. So people are using the library for different services. I think one of the main ones is faxing. Well, the one that generates more money is faxing. But at the same time, people do a lot of printing at the libraries. There's no way they can print for 10 cents, almost next to nothing at black and white at the library. Cafe 121, we offer a very good service for our patrons. We have a small cafe that up to now, since October 1st, has generated $6,500. That goes back to the general fund. So we did pass, city did pass a good budget for us, a little bit over $1.6 million. Over $300,000 have been expended, which is, we're about that range, 3 months into the budget. So we have about 18, almost 19% that we've expended on that approved budget. On that budget, we did approve, of course, all the operations, all the benefits for our staff, and there was an approval to buy a new vehicle for the library, which is, greatly needed for our use to go to the South Pharr, to go to other libraries, to go to conference, and also to go do interlibrary loans, which we send out books to other libraries from our library.
What's happening with the other vehicle?
We don't know yet. It's either going to be a classic car that we can keep like the other books.
Yeah.
We have a classic collection of books of cars at the library,
Auction it off.
or the city will auction it off. Of course, it's a 20-year-old car, so
20-year-old.
I don't know how much we'll get for it.
Antique.
Very good.
Antique.
It's an antique classic car.
A little mobile book library.
We do help out in other events. First Responders Festival back in, I think it was August. We had a great haunted house event. If you weren't present or if you weren't able to make it, I would recommend making time this 2020. It'll be bigger and better than last year's. And last year was bigger and better than the year before. I know Miss Emma was there.
Yes.
Scary.
Scary.
It was scary. I mean,
Good.
unfortunately, it is
Lots
a
of
scary house.
people, yeah.
Scary haunted house at the library. So we did have a lot of good reviews
Yes.
on the way we
I did the
put it
pre.
together.
I did too. I saw it go up.
Oh, you did?
I came right before you
There-
all started
So
to have,
we
open
had-
it up.
We had great reviews. Our patrons and parents and kids loved it. We don't know how to top this last year, so we'll come up with something before October for you all to see before we put it out there for the public. We might consider charging a little bit, but we'll see what happens. I think I'll talk to the staff about how to keep it very low cost and very enjoyable and scary or scarier for our patrons. Dia de los Muertos, again with Parks and Rec, that we helped out downtown. The Veterans Day Parade, you saw a picture there with our classic vehicle and our big flag. We go big or go home at the library, that's our saying. So we had a big parade float for the Veterans Day Parade. We also participated in a Christmas Posada and a big Christmas tamalada for the city that we had at the DRC. So that's one thing we are moving forward is a time capsule at the DRC. Construction has started. We're taking pictures and we're going to be involved in, by the time it's done, about 90 days from now, so 3 months, we'll see about being part of the, I guess, installation of that time capsule. And we're going to open it 50 years from now, in 2070.
Never
Be
see
So.
around. I won't be around.
So if you want some cemetery space, let me know.
50 years.
Yeah, now's the time to do it. The time capsule is going in about 3 months. Nevertheless, we'll be part of it. We'll send out invitations. I want to make it a big deal because it's a way for us to also promote the facility in South Pharr, our library facility. So keep that. Save the date. I'll send it to you so you know what's going on. Next, I'm going to have Mike just kind of briefly tell you about the DRC, what's happening, and some of the events that he's hosted over there. And then we'll have children's. A lot of things going on with children's. And then Carlos will cover a little bit about the reps department. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you.
All right.
Any questions?
Hello,
Hi.
good afternoon. My name is Mike Singletary. I'm the branch manager at the Development and Research Center. And I'm going to talk about a few events that went on in November and December of last year. So starting out November 1st through 6th, we had Hidalgo County elections. November 7th, we had CBP, Customs and Border Protection. They had a meeting there. November 8th, we had the Hidalgo County Health Department, they had a health fair at the DRC, and they took up both the conference rooms and the exhibit hall in the back. So they had a pretty big event there. November 11 and 12, we had the Pharr 2020 Census Complete Count Committee. So the city made a committee for the census, and they meet regularly there at the DRC. November 13th, Bridge Papaya Best Practices. The Bridge had a meeting. November 14th, Driscoll Children's Hospital. They used our conference room for parental education in the form of a baby shower. November 15th, we had Consulado de Mexico. The Mexican consulate basically used our facility to hand out books to different schools in the area. They were workbooks.
Is this the first time they use?
Yes, that's
The
the first time
facility.
they've used the facility to do that. They actually wanted to be inside the library section itself to hand out the books. So it was like a ceremony. They had the consul, and he was giving out the different packages for the different schools. Pharr Pharr HR department, they had the firefighter training in our exhibit hall. PSJ had their principal academy there in our conference room. Parks and Recreation, November 22nd, Parks and Recreation had their Thanksgiving lunch for their staff. And November 23rd, the county used the DRC for their second annual turkey giveaway. Now, I think they gave out 200 turkeys, and they gave out 200 vouchers. So everybody that got a voucher went to the DRC and picked up a turkey. It was a little turkey package. It was a box with a turkey and all the fixings. Yeah, the dressing and all that. So in December, we had Vanguard Academy, December 2nd through 3rd. They had a teacher in service. December 4th, again, the 2020 Census Complete Count Committee. December 6th, our community liaison, Frank Nunez, along with RGB Promotions, had a health fair. So they had different screenings going on, vision, hearing, and all that. They were checking blood pressure, and they were checking for different things. You know, they were just screening. But it was a big event that happened on December 6th. December 16th and 17th, PSJ used the DRC for their district Christmas luncheon. December 18th, PSJ again used the counseling and guidance department. They used the DRC. United Healthcare on December 19th had another health fair. So it was, again, they did screenings. And on December 20th, the city of Pharr had the commissioners' tamalada, which they've done for 2 years in a row now. So I think they've liked the DRC because of its size, and they had a pretty good turnout for the tamalada. And on December 18th, Driscoll Children's Hospital had one of their baby showers, and yeah, those were all the events that happened at
Very
DRC.
busy. Wonderful.
Is it a lot?
It's a lot.
Yes, yeah, so it's getting out that we rent out the space to nonprofits. So word is out, so we're getting a lot more people reserving, more organizations reserving. A lot of the ISDs, PSJA, Vanguard, IDEA, they use the DRC.
Who handles the scheduling?
We do. The scheduling is kind of, we schedule from Monday to Friday for nonprofit organizations, and then on the weekends, Parks and Recreation rents it out for a profit. So Parks and Recreation has the schedule for Saturday and Sunday, and we have the rest of the week.
Good. Good work.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Santiago Vasquez. I'm the children's supervisor, and it's good to be here tonight. If you'll turn in your folder and you'll see a sort of fireworky January calendar that we have for children. So if you'll just take a quick look at it, one of the things that we want to do is make sure and keep everything available for families and children. So we've continued with our Sunday stream, which stream stands for science, technology, reading, which Mr. Garcia added because everything involves reading, engineering, arts, and mathematics. So that comes off of the STEM and STEAM teaching that we see in our schools. And what we do is we reach out and have resources from experts in their field to let us know about projects, and we complete them with children. So that's anything from having a paper airplane competition to helping them out with ideas for their science projects that are coming up that they'll be doing in their school year. So we've seen some pretty good growth within that, and that's on Sunday afternoons. So it's perfect for families that get out of a church and they go eat lunch and then they come visit us in the middle of the afternoon. We've continued with movie nights that we have at the main and the branch library, and we, as much as possible, try to show the newest movies out there. If there's no children's movies that have come out that are new releases, then we show classics. So Disney's are always classics, things like Monsters University from Pixar. Tuesdays are usually reserved for art. So what we're doing is we usually have an art whiz contest at the very beginning of the month, where kids can come and explore and challenge each other in different art projects. Usually we have anywhere from 4 to 6 years old, and then 7 to 12 age categories. And we usually have different winners. This last month for January, we had an art contest that involved Martin Luther King, a negative space art piece that the kids could come in and work on. Of course, we have painting, chalk art, and mosaics. Wednesdays, we have toddler time and story time for older kids in the afternoon. We've began How Does It Work? And we've picked one main theme the month. Right now, we're in the middle of How Does It Work? Well, we just finished. But we're teaching kids how to do magic tricks and showing them that the way that we learned how to do the magic tricks was out of books. So they can explore books, they can see how anything works. Also, Homeschoolers is back in session. So we're working on building those numbers again. And then Friday is usually known as Friday Fun Days. We've just gone ahead and put exactly what we're going to be doing on those fun days. Once again, those are some of the activities that the kids have chosen to pick. So this month we've been asking kids what they would like to try out in the month of February. And what we always do is we say the reason that you can do this project is because we learned how to do it through a book. So we're trying to show them that books are the way to go, especially for instructions. Saturdays, we try to keep it different. Balloon play was a big deal on the 11th. Kids love balloons. We were going to teach them how to just do making balloon animals, but even the kids just love bopping balloons in the air and playing with each other. So on the 25th, this week we're anticipating another coloring contest where the kids can come in, and we have a coloring contest that's sort of exhibiting the Chinese New Year, which is the year of the rat, I believe. So it's not a very, I know, this isn't the year, especially with what's going on. But any questions about our calendar? We're getting ready just to release our February calendar, which on that calendar we're actually going to put some helpful tools for parents that have questions about how to help their children read. So, and what we've introduced also is the January reading challenge. So we have a monthly challenge that the kids can come in, search for the books that are on the list, go through the books, do the activities that are provided there, come back at the very end, turn in their signed paper, and they get a free book right when they finish that. So we've had about 25 kids come in so far, and so we're sort of anticipating February to be a little bit better as the kids know about our reading challenges that we have. So this month, they were supposed to go look for the book Winnie the Pooh, and they were supposed to learn a little bit about the author. They were supposed to find something about Martin Luther King to read, one of his biographies. And what we do is we kind of pull them out, and then we leave some in so we could show them how to actually use the library system to find books. If we have no questions on the calendar, I'll go to the next page.
Very good.
Any questions?
Let me ask you something. I know that these activities go on at both places.
Yes, ma'am.
You're the director, and who takes care of each area, each library?
Each library that comes with the assistant children's staff.
Okay.
And what we do with them is that each assistant staff is sort of assigned a program. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and plan and work on the sort of logistics of it. And what they do is they pull together the materials such as toddler time. We have a young lady, two young ladies that one works at the main, one works at the south. And what they do is I'll work on the planning and the themes. And what they do is they come and they actually they bring a book into it. They'll plan the craft that comes with it. So each one of the staff is sort of assigned a particular program. So that way we have one as much of an expert as we can on that, and then the others assist them. And then if we have a good number like we did a little while ago, it's all hands on deck. So
So in essence, do they get together and plan that particular activity for each of the libraries?
actually, yes, we do. We get together and we really dialogue with each other to make sure that we're meeting the needs that the parents have asked. So that's why I use the example of toddler time because it's developed into something really, really great. We had parents asking, so right now we have parents that speak Japanese with their children, and we have parents that speak Spanish, English, and Brazilian Portuguese, and sign. So they had asked us, what's a better way that you can do to sort of bring this together that maybe we could all work on? So we've introduced books with different languages, involved the parents to read a book in their language, and then also working on sign language with children. So we've actually sort of renewed our partnership with UTRGV, Early Childhood Education. They received a humongous grant. So what they have is now they have schools for, I believe, 0 to 3. So what we've done is partner with them to get top quality information of how to work with young ones. So with their information that they've passed along with us, we've been able to in turn and use that within our toddler time, story reading time, and STEAM and STEM activities, family time, because they show how to help the parents develop. So we're really trying to make it an all-encompassing where the parent feels that they're part of the program, but also that the parents are learning also how to work with their children.
Wonderful.
That's great.
Sounds great.
Yeah, it's a lot of planning. It's
Yeah, I can
but
see that.
the staff is excited. They really do love the things that they're able to do. They say it feels more like a hobby than it does a job or a work or but being able to work with the kids the way they do, they're really excited.
And they're
be working.
passionate about it. You
Oh,
can
yes.
tell.
Number one thing to do in our department is we ask them, first, do you love kids? Yes. Okay. Well, then that's 99.9%
You have to
of
love
what we
kids.
need. And then the rest will come easy.
It's great.
If you'd like to turn to the second page, right behind that, we had an amazing Christmas night at the library. We had a book reading, we had hot chocolate, we had cookies, we had a Christmas sing-along, we had prizes, we had about 25 partnering organizations come in to help us with our game booths. Most of them educational, nonprofits, but there you'll see a kid holding his scratch art Christmas ornament, and then we have some kids that were able to, every child under 12 absolutely got a free book. So there's a new statistic out that any child that has that owns 6 books when they're younger, the percentage is significantly increased that they're going to be more successful in life. So many of these children get their books from us as a library, and we're able to provide that for them. And they're good quality books. They're exactly the books that they see at the Scholastic Book Fair because we get them from the Scholastic Book Warehouse. We also get them from the South Texas Coalition, Literacy Coalition, so they help us out in that way also. But you'll see 2 young ladies looking through all the books to pick the ones that they like. You'll see a picture of Mr. Garcia, and I will say that picture does not do justice with the amount of people that are around him.
Oh, I know.
That's a
There's
nice
gotta be
crowd.
about, yeah, there's got to be about 3/4 more people there. I just can't get far enough back to take a picture. And we had an extremely good turnout this Christmas holidays for our Christmas night at the library, and trying to figure out how to fit more people in as they come.
Yeah.
So and then you'll see this is actually a T-stem with the elf hats on to the right of Mr. Garcia. Down at the bottom to the left, that's the PSJ migrant department, and then to the right of that, that's our public works department. So I tried to keep it within one page, but we had so many people wanting to participate, which is anticipation of our Dr. Seuss birthday celebration, which will be at the DRC. With our branch down there, we'll be using the exhibit hall and the conference rooms, and we anticipate more people than we had last year. So that's going to be on March 5th. It's a Thursday evening. We encourage you to attend and to see how excited it is to celebrate I almost said local author, but no, an author's birthday, and to see how excited the kids are about celebrating. I wish he was a local author. That'd be amazing. But any
Excuse me.
questions?
Could we get a reminder on that?
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
You know, we forget.
Oh, no problem. We'll definitely we'll make sure and get y'all a reminder. We'll try to make sure we find y'all parking, so that way y'all can get
It'll
close.
be on on that calendar, right?
Yes, it will be. It will
March
be on the
calendar.
calendar, March calendar. So it's going to be a big event. Don't forget about Easter. Don't forget about our summer program.
The Easter
Keep
eggs.
those in mind.
The Easter eggs.
The exciting thing is that we have people calling about it already, which means that they're seeing the library as a source of a way for children to sort of learn, and they know it's a good place for kids to come. So building a good rapport with the community is essential. So we're happy that we're getting to that point.
And now that you mentioned those events were very well done.
Mhm.
The summer program and the Easter hunt, those I remember because there were so many people there,
Mhm.
especially what was it, the Easter hunt, yes.
Yeah, and I really have to give that credit to a lot of the staff, not only the children's staff, but also the staff as a whole at the library, because in those events, I mean, we have so many staff, but being that we're able to have the whole library participate, and then the whole library sort of put everything into it, that's really the reason it's a really good success, is because we have really good staff that
Even
likes
the
that stuff.
mayor was there.
Yeah,
For
and
the
some
pictures.
commissioners and
And the
some.
commissioners.
Yeah, so it was a really well attended event. We may need to move it this year because of the amount of kids that we had. So we're thinking about a park that's a little bit south, but we just got to make sure that it's ready, which I
Bigger
assume.
than those two fields?
Yes, I need 3 fields now because the toddlers took over. Our youngins, they sort of kept going past the line and took over the second age bracket. So now we're gonna have to corral them somewhere different. But it's really great because we can see that it's just been growing consistently, and we've been able to do it with, I say, the same amount of staff. We've been able to do it consistently for pretty much the same budget, and but what we're seeing is increase in popularity. I guess people would like to participate in it as far as nonprofits and other organizations, but no, we're excited. I mean, we wish it was here, but in the same boat, we're like, we need time to prepare.
Yeah.
Have the football
work.
field.
We've considered.
Okay, we'll be looking forward to that too.
Any other questions that I can answer before we pass it on to Carlos? No.
Mm.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, board. My name is Carlos Alvarez. I'm in charge of I'm supervisor for the reference department. And in our reference department, we're doing pretty good. We basically help a lot of people with research in any kind of the field, either is it school related, looking for jobs, or just looking for historical events that happen locally or nationwide, and as well as around the world. Lately, in the last few weeks, we've been working in the history of Pharr. So my staff and I, we were able to bring a name to a face of every mayor that has been a mayor in the city of Pharr. So we're displaying that at the Galleria 121 inside the library, and that's mostly for everybody in the community to go and check it out. I know many people don't know much of the history, and they don't know much of the mayors. So with the database that we were able to obtain, thanks to Mr. Garcia that he approved it, we were able to do our research, and we were able to bring many of the history of Pharr that many of people didn't know, and we didn't even know. With that, we got the picture of the mayor, and we got what they used to do. We found out that one of the mayors, L.J. Polk, he was the great nephew of President James Polk from the United States. We saw several mayors that we didn't have an idea that they were mayors, but we found out that they were not on the list just because they only served about 2 or 3 months before something happened to them or they got appointed to a higher position within the county. We also did a timeline for the city of Pharr. So with the staff, we were able to work for that, and we took that timeline and those pictures to the city birthday, which was last week, a week ago exactly. So we were able to educate the community and the public officials. They were there looking at the pictures, looking at our timeline. They were surprised to see when the electricity came to the city of Pharr, when water was part of the city of Pharr, when the first house was built in the city of Pharr. So all of these things that many people didn't know about it, they were able to get educated on that and just know when all this took place at the very beginning, 100 years or 110 years ago. Many people also were very excited to see some of our old books that were donated at the very beginning of the founding of our library. So we had a display of our books there. We also display a book that the co-founder Henry Pharr wrote. So he wrote a book about his genealogy and his role in the creation of the city of Pharr at the very beginning. So we had that book as well on display, and we also have it at our library. One is for checkout, one is for the local archives. And we're also trying to promote the local archives, just because many people don't know that we have our local archives at the library. We're trying to work with that. We went ahead and got in touch with IT, so IT said that they were willing to put our timeline as well as the pictures of our former mayors in the website. That way people can go and look at them as well. So in the local archives, after the display is over in Galleria 121, we're gonna do a mural wall at the locals archives. So that way people who want to come and look at it or do research on the mayors, we have a box just with mayoral information that we were able to obtain thanks to our databases that we had. We also invite you to go to the Galleria 121. We have all the mayors there also. Maybe I know some of you are historians, so maybe you can help us, because we were missing 3 pictures from 3 mayors that we weren't able to find a picture to. So from the 26 that were mayors, we were able to find almost all of them.
Wonderful.
Yes. So
It's so exciting. to
yes,
know
it is.
the
It is
history.
exciting just because we get to know more about our city, our community, and how it was funded or founded. And many people don't know about that, about where they're standing or where they're living. It was actually like at one time a sugar plantation. So it was pretty neat to find out all of that.
So all this is at the Galleria.
Yes, right now right. So we're displaying them as a part of the birthday party, since Pharr was founded in a month like January from 1909. So we're displaying them so people can go, people from the community and people that love history, go and check out the faces to every mayor. So we have the first one, who was Mr. Linesetter, all the way to the present one, which is Mr. Dr. Ambrosio Hernandez.
We have plenty of those.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're working on that. It's a really neat project that we're working with. Also, we're trying to, since we don't have a museum in the city of Pharr, we're taking a lot of pride in learning more about the history of Pharr and trying to promote that in our library. Several schools, elementary schools and middle schools, come to our library as a field trip. So that would be a good topic to touch and take them to the archives, show them pictures, old pictures from back in the day and pictures that are now present. We can show them how the city expanded, and a lot of people didn't know that Las Milpas was annexed in 1987 under Mayor Fidencio Barrera. So that's something that they couldn't believe, because now they see South Pharr as something that is growing, and thanks to that we were able to obtain the bridge as well. So all of that is part of the history. So our staff and myself were working on that very closely, just to bring awareness of our history. And
What other areas are you covering? Are you covering the schools too?
yes, we're finding along with the history of the city, we're also finding a lot of schools, why they were named after so and so person, who were the school board members, who were the superintendents, the times they had served, and all of this information. So it's pretty interesting, because it doesn't only cover the school district, but the city as well as the PSJ area.
Right.
So as a reference department, we're working hard on that. That way we can have a good archives that shows everybody what the city is or how it came to be. And if students ever have to do research on local history, we are there to help them.
You really need a presentation.
Yes,
so
we
that
do.
people can come and look at it. Otherwise, they won't know about it.
Right. Yeah. So we're planning on doing something more like a history day for the
Or days, because you won't be able to fit everybody there that's interested.
Right. Yes, we're trying. We had an idea of trying to send out emails to the school district, to the history teachers, and maybe have a one day dedicated to local history. And if they attend, maybe like in a Saturday, they can get extra credit for
Great.
that. So
That's good.
that's something that we're
Have
looking at.
contests, who can name all the mayors and all the superintendents.
Yes,
and-
that would be super interesting. So yes, so we're gonna try to do that or something similar to that.
Yeah,
Yes.
great, wonderful.
Excuse me, I had talked to Mr. Garcia about an idea on using a building that's not being used for that purpose, because he had told me about the
Museum?
display that you had.
Right.
But I see that you're taking care of it in the library. My idea was old fire station that's just sitting there, and it's such a great building.
Yes.
It has got a lot of space,
Right.
because when the coffee shop was there, I can't remember the name of it,
Moonbeams.
they did a lot of work on it, and so yeah. But I don't know if you're happy as the way you're doing it, because I don't know how long you have, like, displays, right? You have
Right.
displays out. I don't know how long you can leave them out. Where this would be kind of like a permanent thing, and
Right. Yeah, we can try to work something out, and we can maybe Mr. Issa can bring this to the board and maybe see where it goes to commission.
Maybe we can now have them go into the museum. We've always wanted a museum in Pharr,
Right.
but we've never gotten our wish.
Oh, okay.
So maybe you can work on that with all that you've done.
Right. Yes, that would be something.
Make it interesting to where the people will maybe ask for it.
Right. Yes, that would be a
And
good
I
idea.
bet before all the historians pass away, like we were talking about, maybe they have other things to offer.
Right.
And displays and information and pictures before they throw them away.
Right. Yes. Exactly. So we're also trying to see if we can maybe somehow put out there that people that have antique pictures that maybe we don't have, if they can donate it to the library, or they maybe just let us have a copy of it,
Copy.
and that way we can save that picture, because a lot of people, like you said, they might just get rid of them, and
Yeah.
that there goes
It
part
doesn't mean
of history.
anything to them because they're old.
Right.
They just throw them away.
Right. Yes.
Or they rot because they're always in boxes and things like that.
Right. Yes. And the good thing is that at our local archives we have our cover boxes, so they won't decay as fast as something that is just in a
Stored in boxes.
right storage boxes.
Well, if you need any help, call me.
Yeah, I will. I will. Maybe I would call you and
And going back to that, the old fire station,
right.
when we started the Hub Fest, and we would have the days for the Hub Fest, and we had displays, history displays. You're too young to remember that probably. But we had displays, and that's the time that, that people come around, come to town, right, for the celebration, for the
Right.
festivities, and they would come in, and we had it at different places because we kept borrowing places. We had it at the Texan, we had it at
One of the buildings at the Newcomb building over here.
the
But
old, not old City Hall, but old City Hall. We had it there too, when it was a literacy center.
Right.
So, yeah, so,
and people would come and they were interested in all that, but that stopped. As soon as we celebrated our centennial, it seemed like it disappeared. The interest disappeared, and we've never had them anymore.
Oh, okay. And you have those displays, or
I donated them to the library.
oh, okay. Those are
Eh,
the ones that we have at the archives.
Yes.
and
Okay.
you've come up with some, right?
Right, yes.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yes.
Because last year, we didn't go to this last week, but the year before we did.
Right.
And you all had done a lot of work.
Yeah.
And you've
Yes.
done more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, with the database that Mr. Garcia was able or he approved for us to buy, we were able to get a lot of more information from old newspapers, and just to confirm the dates and just to make sure that we were correct on dates and mayors and so on. So yes,
It's wonderful.
yes,
Oh,
it is.
So exciting.
So we invite you to go to the library, to the Galleria 121, so you can check out our mayors and our timeline. So maybe you can have some input in there if we are missing something or if we need to correct something. That would be really valuable to us.
It's wonderful.
Yes.
So exciting.
Any questions, comments, concerns?
We need to have these children educated about our
Yes.
city. Yeah.
Right,
And our
'cause-
schools and everything that's been happening, our people.
Right. They get educated from state level and federal level, but they don't
Not
get
the
educated
city.
local
No.
level. Yes.
You're right.
Great job.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, I'd like to thank the staff for coming up here and giving you those presentations. Again, the library is available to the entire, valley, entire state. We do have a lot of stuff that we're working with our IT department to make it available online, especially the historical stuff that Carlos was covering. A lot of time and effort goes into putting these things together, so I would ask if the board swing by the library and talk about what the programs that we have. I would like to invite all the public, we're open every day of the week, is to stop by the library and make sure you appreciate what we do have as a benefit to all of our patrons, all of our city. If you have any questions, just stop by and ask us. We'll be more than happy to answer any questions that may come about, and my staff is always friendly, and we like to say that we have the best customer service in the city of Pharr as far as the library is concerned. So stop by, open every day of the week. Stop by. We are available on social media. We do have a lot of that information on the city's website as well.
Thank you. I think you all are doing a great job.
Well, thank you
Thank you
for
so much.
letting us know that, and we'll let the staff know as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
That'll conclude my presentation.
Okay, any questions? Is there a motion to adjourn? Moved by Guetta
Second.
and Emma, second. Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you all.